Hi beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. Yay. It's good to have you guys back here. It was good for me to be back here as well. It's been a very trying week, but regardless, we move. God is still on the throne, so we shall not be moved. But yes, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. It's nice to have you here with my humble self. And if you're a returning subscriber, or if you've watched my video before, what are you waiting for? Subscribe, like as always, comment and share if you can, please, just so like you can get people knowing more about this channel, and just so like YouTube keeps recommending it to the right people that need to see what we are talking about here. So yes, welcome back. As you can see, I have my notes so I've been writing, and today basically I just want to talk about something that I usually get so much question on. I've introduced myself before, but I'm going to introduce myself again to you guys. So yes, my name is Blessing Omabi, for short, and basically I am a UK content creator based in Manchester currently. On this channel we talk about motherhood, we do talk about lifestyle as well, and basically just have healthy conversations like one of the ones we're going to be having today. So yes, today if you follow me on Instagram, I do a bit of living in the UK, things to expect, and not in a big scale kind of, because I know there's so much information out there, but what I do usually I just touch on it, especially on my stories, and my DMs are open for any kinds of questions. So I just thought to myself, why not do something for YouTube, and just do a video where this will be permanently here for those that will be relocating soon to the UK, for those that have just recently moved, and for those of us that are here. By God's grace, this year, by November this year, I'll be 5 years in the UK. So I feel like I can share one or two things that would help anyone at any point of their journey here in the country. And basically that is what we will be talking about today. We're just going to be sharing tips on how to basically navigate your way in the UK, and things to just remind yourself about, because it's easy sometimes to get really consumed with the entire journey, with the entire process, and you feel like, oh my god, you can really feel overwhelmed if you don't have the right support or have the right people around you when you're on this journey. So yeah, I just thought to just do this, and I do hope you all find it useful. So the first thing on my list for living in the UK, for navigating the whole system. So say you've just moved and you're just wondering to yourself, or you're thinking of moving and you're just thinking, okay, what is the number one thing I need to have in mind? So for me, I would say this, and if you're watching, if you've been here for a long time, please do drop your comments and just also add to what I'm saying, so that every other person that's coming, that's going to listen to this later, has something they can take away from the comment section as well. So the first thing I need you to remember, if you are just if you new on this journey, is to understand that this is going to be a totally new experience for you. It is going to be a totally new environment. I feel like one mistake we make sometimes when we're trying to move to countries like this is we just want to do it really fast. We just want to, pack up and leave. I do understand that. I've been there, I've done that. But then if you don't do that the right way, if you don't navigate the change the right way, it can actually, come back to you in, few weeks, few months of eventually coming here, and you become so overwhelmed and you start asking yourself, oh my God, no one told me this, I didn't know this, things like that. So one of the things you need to realize is that this is going to be a new environment. This is going to be a new journey for you. Understand yourself. how do you deal with change? Are you someone that really likes change? Are you someone that really thrives on change? Or do you not know yourself? Or have you never been in a situation where you've had to like change environment or do something drastic, move from one place to the other? So if this is like your first time, there's a possibility that you might struggle. So that's why it's important for you to know yourself. Previously, before moving to the UK, when I was back in Nigeria, I used to say to myself that, oh my God, yes, I thrive in change. I do well in change. Oh, I'm not going to have any problem. Or this is not going to be an issue for me. But then when I moved here, oh my God, I struggled so bad for the first few months. I remember like constantly going to bed crying and asking my husband, saying, do you know what, like, I'll just go back to Nigeria while you stay here. And I think that's really, really important because we need to like sensitize ourselves. Before you come, you need to realize and understand that, okay, this is going to be a new journey. This is going to be a new environment. I'm going to meet new people I've never met before. I'm going to see like new cultures. I'm going to be exposed to a lot of new things that I have not been exposed to before. Am I ready for this? Am I prepared for this? How can I prepare myself for this? Get your mind to that point where you're prepared for anything that comes, kind of. So getting yourself ready, don't just pack up and say, okay, yes, I'm traveling, I'm moving to the UK or I'm moving to any country abroad and that's what it's going to be. No, sometimes it might be difficult for you to settle in, faster than others. For some people, they're really fast. That's why I said you need to know yourself. You need to really understand yourself and understand how you easily navigate or thrive through change. So the first thing would be working on your mindset. So basically just over everything you feel like. I always tell people everything you feel like back in Nigeria or wherever you're coming from, as far as you're moving to a new place, once you get to the airport, drop everything at the airport. Like as the plane is landing, when you're picking your bag from the airport and like walking through, yes, just drop everything you think you know at the airport and get ready to pick up new things about this new place that you're going to, because there will definitely be so many new things you need to learn. So be ready to learn, be ready to unlearn, and be ready to relearn on this journey. So yes, that's number one. So number two, yeah. So when you've obviously changed your mindset, you've obviously gotten to that point where you realize that, okay, the things I know, the things I used to know are not necessarily the things that might work for me here now. What are the new things I need to know? What are the new things I need to do? This is where your number two comes in, where you start asking the right questions. So regardless of anything you need to know, whether it's about like navigating jobs, whether it's like if you're coming as a student, if it's like school life and things like that, what are the things I need to know about school life? What are the things, what are the new things I need to, back in Nigeria, how did we do school? Like what are the things I need to know now? Because the system is different, so you need to ask the right questions. Like, come in, understand the system, and ask the right questions that would help you, figure out what you need to do. Because sometimes, like, we can just come in and, we don't have any direction, and the things that we need to be focusing on are not the things that we should be focusing on. So, depending on your journey, depending on why you're here, if you're here for school, if you're here for work, if you're here to on any kind of visa, just find the right people and ask the right questions and be wary of there's so many information out there. And also thank God to social media these days, and a lot of people like myself, who share their stories on a day-to-day basis and like help other people. I remember like 4 or 5 years ago when I moved here, things like that were not really the case in this country, obviously, but because of social media now, Instagram, YouTube, there's so much information out there. But you need to be able to filter down. That comes to like number three. You need to be able to filter down the things you take in, because as much as there's so much information out there, there's also so many misinformation, with people like reading things and not necessarily like understanding them, and just basically saying things just to drive traffic, or just to drive people to their channels or to their pages on Instagram. So you need to be very, very careful. You need to be able to filter down information to a way that you know that, okay, you really, really, really understand what is expected and required of you. Thank God we're in a country that is open. We're in a place where you can walk into anywhere and ask questions, and no one will feel like, oh my God, who is this person? So if you're a student, when you come into school, I always advise people that always reach out to me and say, oh, blessing, oh, I'm supposed to resume school in September or in January as a student. I'm doing this. I always tell them, do you know what? Come a week earlier or come 2 weeks earlier if you can, because I do understand that sometimes it's not possible. But if you can, it's better for you to come 2 weeks earlier, 1 week earlier, and you have enough opportunity to go into your school, go into, like, maybe library, meet other students, walk up to them, ask questions. One thing I do realize is a lot of us come here and we're very shy, which is understandable because obviously it's a new environment. You don't know what to expect. You don't know the kind of people that are here. You don't know, what kind of attitude they're going to give you. But then I would say, it's better for you to actually try to reach out, and probably you get snubbed on and you move over to the next person, than to actually just come here, be shy, not ask any question, and just, feel like, oh my God, oh, I don't know anything. So, anything that would actually cost you so much more. So I always tell people, if you're a student, I mean, come 1 week earlier, come 2 weeks earlier, go to your school, walk around the school. If you know where your department's going to be, there's no harm in like trying to gain access to that building. Try to see if you can speak to one or two lecturers, introduce yourself to people, let people know that, okay, I've just moved to the UK recently, or to to wherever you are. This is where I'm on this journey. Oh, this is what I need to know. It's never too early to start asking questions. So yes, so like I said, number three, filter down the information you receive, and also know how to ask the right questions. Don't be afraid. Go, you can walk in anywhere, literally. You can, like, anywhere that has access to like public, you can actually go in and ask questions, and don't feel like, oh, maybe, someone is going to like restrict me. So, and also make sure the www.gov.uk website is your friend, because a lot of information that, a lot of people pass on social media, information gotten from there. So if it's something you can actually like search for yourself, I mean, why not? Why don't you do that? Like, search and actually read, instead of allowing people to relay information to you that they've read. You need to realize that when people read something, the way they understand it might be different from the way you understand it, or the way you interpret it will be different from the way they interpret it. So it's yeah, it's always better to like know how to find information sometimes by yourself. And yeah, you'll be able to just get the right information through the right source. So number four, yes, so number four, allow yourself to enjoy the process. Oh my God, the amount of times I've gotten people message me saying, oh, I don't know what's going on. I'm not enjoying this. This is not what I expected. Da, 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 da. I want to go back to Nigeria. I want to, just, oh my God. To be fair, like, I've been there and I understand. But then it just boils down to the first thing I said. You need to understand that this process might be difficult. I do understand that some people come here and they have a very soft landing. Maybe they have family, they have friends. It's easy for them to just like navigate and things like that. But maybe you yourself, you've come here, it's just you're the first, generation migrant in your family, and you're just basically trying to find your way around. You need to realize that this would be a different experience from anything you might have experienced before. So as much as it might be difficult, allow yourself to find the little joys in the process. Allow yourself to enjoy the process. Things that are hard, like, I understand that like things are going to be hard, but they never stay hard for, the longest of time. So just find your way around it, look for ways, look for people, connect with people, find things that you can easily do that will bring you, even if it's just the littlest amount of joy. I know a lot of people that, that have come here and they started like YouTube videos, like just like what I'm doing, and they started like educating other people. And with that, they were able to like build, connections, and they've been able to like, not feel some type of like loneliness because they are channeling that feeling or the things they're experiencing into like avenues to help other people. So, there are so many things that you can easily do to find joy in the process. I'm not saying it's not going to be difficult. I'm not saying you're not going to be overwhelmed, but regardless, find ways to enjoy the process, because 1 year, 2 years, 3 years down the line, you might just look back and obviously like they'll just be like memories. You think back on when I came, I didn't even know anything, but now I know everything. You think back and say, oh, when I came, like I didn't even have any friend, but now like I have friends. Life is a journey, and the more that we understand that on this journey sometimes will be difficult, sometimes we'll find it easy, it will be better for us to go with hope on the journey, and obviously just continue to look out for more positives even in the midst of negatives. So allow yourself to enjoy the process. So the next one will be have and set goals for yourself. So what are the things you want to achieve? So say you've moved here, what are the things you want to achieve in the first month? If it's accommodation, is it looking for a job? Is it, I don't know, basically anything. Make sure you're setting goals as you go, because one thing I've realized being here is that the time here actually flies. I don't know, seriously, like the days are so fast, the nights are so fast, and before you know, like it's like 24 hours gone. Before you know, it's 1 week. Before you know, it's 1 month, and I really don't know why. Don't ask me why, but the time here actually does fly past quickly. So what I would definitely say to you is just basically, have and set goals for yourself, because you could feel like, okay, oh, I'm on a student visa, and I'm like, okay, I still have like 1 year or 2 years ahead of me. Oh, it's fine, I can look for a job, I can do an you can actually keep things thinking, oh, there's still so much time, but before you know it, is like the whole time is gone, and you're just wondering, what have I actually achieved? So instead of you getting to the point where it's almost time for you to be done with your studies, or basically anything, even if it's you, so say you came here for work and you come over and it's not basically what you expected, or even if it was what you expected, it's good to actually set goals for yourself, because it just helps you see how far you're progressing. You can look back 2 3 years and be like, okay, this is where I was, this is where I am now. Set goals for yourself. Don't just leave everything to chance. Do the ones you can do. I know it's easy to be like, oh, sometimes things can actually change, but when you actually have goals, it's easy for you to actually have a direction, and you know what exactly you're chasing towards. Yeah. So the next one I would say is be content. Wow, like this is so like very, very, very important. Realize that there are times for small beginnings, and this is your time to have a small beginning. Whether yours is small, whether yours is big, it doesn't really matter. Everyone has a new beginning. Like I say, like I always say to people, we spent I think I moved to the UK like when I was 24ish. So before that time, I'd spent like 20 something years previously of my life in a place where I've known all my life, with people I've known all my life. I've been working for years, I was doing so well, and I had to leave all that and move here. So it was just like I was actually starting afresh. So allow yourself to go through that process of change and be content with and in your journey where you are. It's easy for some of us actually lose focus when we come here and we see, a lot of things going on. Maybe you see some of your mates already and they're like building houses and they're like buying cars, and and you yourself, where you're coming from, what you actually did to get to where you are. And the first thing you're already thinking of is, oh, I want to buy this car. I want to do. please be content with what you have and with where you are. Especially, and I say this especially for students. I don't know why but maybe just because we came through the student route, and it's easy for us to we've seen people that actually came here with their last card, sold everything, and when they came here, they did not focus on what they actually came here for, which was actually the schooling. And I do understand that sometimes some of us have to like hustle, get our own money, like pay for school fees and things like that, which is understandable. But just always remember the thing that brought you here. What was that visa you came on? If it's schooling, if it's work, always put it before you, because that is what should always drive the decisions you make. So when you start to lose focus, just go back and ask yourself, oh, why am I here? So that would that would help you make the right decisions. And yeah, just stay content. What you think you don't have now, give yourself 3 years, give yourself 2 years, give yourself 4 years, you would have it, you know. So there's no need for you to rush. There's no need for you to want to be desperate or want to do things like out of desperation and make the wrong mistakes. A lot of our people have made this mistake. A lot of people have come here and they've had to, they've been imprisoned, they've been sent back to Nigeria, they've had to, like, they've lost everything just because they came here and they lost focus. So please know what you're focusing on, be content with what you have, and walk through your time frame, for whatever visa you're on currently, and you see how far, like, you see how fast it would go, and you see how far you would have gone, 2 3 years, from where you started from. So yeah, be content with basically what you have and with where you are. So the next point is, don't be wary of making mistakes. I know, like, it's easy for us to come and be like, oh, I don't want to make any mistake. Oh, this person already said this. Oh, this person did it like this. I want to do it just like them. Oh, da, da, da. See, the mistakes sometimes, mistakes, not even sometimes, mistakes are really good. I mean, obviously, not the like costly kind of mistakes, if you know what I mean. It's easy for you to, like, or make mistakes. Mistakes are good, kind of, because they help us learn. So what you say is a mistake today is like a learning curve for tomorrow. So if you made a mistake today, I'm not sure you're going to repeat that mistake tomorrow, because you would already know what to do. So allow yourself to make mistakes and don't feel like it's the end of the world. As far as it's not anything costly, as far as not anything that is like, oh, I don't know what kind of scenario now to use, but I'm sure you get what I mean. As far as not anything costly, as far as it's just things that can easily be remedied, that is fine. Allow yourself to make those mistakes, because yeah, you can be just like me few years down the line, also telling people like, okay, this is what I did, oh, this was the mistake I made and this was how I rectified it. And you just be helping, the next person. So allow yourself to make mistakes on this journey, because trust me, there'll be so many mistakes you'd make, but yeah, it's not the end of the world. So the next point is determined to make the right connections. And when I say determined, you need to like consciously try to make connections. I don't know if you remember what I said earlier about, like, sometimes people come here, and they're like really shy, they don't want to reach out to anybody, and which is okay, because sometimes we've heard stories of, like, how people always talk about like their stories of how, oh, someone came, this one did this one to them, that one did this one to them, this one betrayed them, this and that, everyone's story. But yeah, like, we were not created to do life alone, especially in this country, in a country like this. It can feel really lonely. So you actually need at least one, two, three people around you that you all can actually hold yourselves, and hold yourselves up, when you guys feel down, and like help yourselves, navigate the whole system. So, like, determined to make the right connections. And I know this can be also difficult. It's not because you're coming to a new place, you don't necessarily know the people you're going to meet, but as far as you're a good person, and this is just what I believe in, and I feel like this has worked for me over the years. As far as I'm a good person, I know that God will bring good people right my way. And even if he brings the odd one bad person or two or three, I'm not bothered about it, because I know, like, even though if those ones come, they're going to be part of the experience, and I will still meet good people. So it's just having the right mindset, to be fair, and also praying about it. If you feel so worried, if you feel like, oh my God, oh, I don't just want to meet anyone that's like, I don't really know them and things like that, just pray about it. You're coming to a new environment, you're praying about so many other things. Oh God, I want a good job. I want this. I want a good employer. I want a good landlord. You were praying about so many things. And I feel like we need to also pray about the relationships, about the people that we will meet on this journey, because a lot of people have met people that have helped them get secure really good jobs, people that have actually helped them, push them forward for like sponsorship visas and things like that. So you can never really like go wrong with having the right people around you. So I think that's really important. That's a very important, prayer point to add to your list, of prayer points when you're praying about moving to the UK. Just ask God to bring the right connections, the right friendships, the right relationships for your way, because a good relationship can actually change your life for good forever, especially in this land. So that's something to think about. Also, yes, it goes down to also like my last 2 points: stay motivated, positive, stay motivated, stay positive. Oh my God, like there were so many times, on this journey that I felt, 1, 2, 3 years ago, like I felt like giving up so many times. I was like, oh my God, I don't think I can actually do this. I can't. I just want to go back home. I just want to be with my parents, and things like that. Like, but one of the things, I feel like it was just God that actually helped me. I found a way to actually stay motivated. When I started like going out, when I started working, and like meeting other people, having conversations with other people, and you just see that, oh my God, okay, I'm actually not alone. And that's why I say, like, actively, seek to make connections, actively seek to, connect to people, because you can actually feel like, you can come to this country, you're in your house alone. It's not like Nigeria, where there's like so many people around you. You can easily go to like your parents' house, meet up with a friend and things like that. But here, a lot of people tend to just be alone in their houses. So you can actually, just build this box for yourself and feel like, oh my God, I'm the only one going through this. I'm the only one suffering. I'm the only one. But by the time you actively start, making connections with people, you'd actually see that, okay, do you know what? Like, whatever you're going through, a lot of people have gone through it and they survived. And things like that can actually motivate you, when you hear people's story and see how, it used to be. Because a lot of things that we're enjoying now, I'm sorry that I'm using the UK, but the UK, this is where I'm based. So for if you're watching this outside of the UK, you might feel like, oh, yeah, I feel like this would definitely relate to anywhere you are, if it's not your home country, wherever you are, if you actively seek to make connections, you would find reasons to keep going, because you'd see that, oh my God, a lot of the things that you're going through, that you feel like, oh my God, I can't survive this, you would see that a lot of people have actually survived those things, and they've come through stronger, and those things would motivate you, and you'd see a bit of hope, and a bit of, okay, there's actually light at the end of the tunnel. So stay motivated, find ways to stay motivated. If you're a Christian just like me, continue to pray, continue to be hopeful, because God will always make things, work out for you. If it's, listening to music, I love listening to music a lot, and that obviously relates to my faith. I listen to a lot of Christian music, and basically things like that. So yeah, find things that motivate you. If it's people, if it's listening to people, if it's, going on YouTube, watching videos of, like, people sharing their experiences and things like that. And when you go to work, when you go to school, don't be afraid to actually, speak up for yourself, and basically ask for help if there's anything you really need. You never know where your help is going to come from. So yes, stay positive. There's I always, one of the things I always used to just, one of the confessions I usually made every day back then was the fact that, oh God, we've spent so much to be here, and I do know like you would not allow every of our efforts to be a waste, and that would be something I would always remind myself. Like whenever I feel low, I'll remind myself and say, God, you would not bring us this far, to leave us stranded. And whenever I made all these confessions, like I'll just feel positive, I'll just feel pumped up, hyped up, and I'm like, okay, do you know what? Oh, okay, I'm ready to go now. So yeah, find ways to stay motivated, stay positive, and stay prayerful. I know it's not easy. I know like it might feel so difficult. I know it might feel so overwhelming, but then regardless, you're here, and that's what matters. You're here, and definitely you will make it work. God will give you the wisdom to make it work. But then, yes, in the meantime, just obviously, like I said earlier, if you have any other thing to add, just drop it in the comment section. If you want to ask any question, drop it in the comment section. I'll get back to it. Or alternatively, you can follow me on Instagram at Amabi, and just send me a DM. I really love talking to people and sharing my story of how I've been able to survive in the UK for 4 to 5 years to people personally. So yeah, don't be afraid to like reach out to me at any time, and I will be able to share like my 2 cents with yourself. So yes, thank you so much for listening this far, and if you haven't already, like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel for more of these videos. So until next time, thank you so much. Bye.